Today, homeowners and farmers and businesses are subjected to a host of government restrictions and prohibitions that reduce the use and value of their properties, including laws relating to wetlands and endangered species. And they're even pushing this thing called smart growth, where urban planners develop comprehensive zoning initiatives that purport to bring man back into balance with the ecosystem by severely restricting private property rights or a particular lifestyle. And their focus is typically suburban sprawl. The urban planner's purpose is to force populations into increasingly limited, dense areas. Have you noticed more and more how close homes are one to the other? That's just not a matter of cost, of market value, but zoning approval by the local zoning boards, which in their own way also have to answer to the EPA and the rest of them. More dense developments, closer and closer together, more public transportation. So their purpose is to force populations into increasingly limited, dense areas, drive cars off the roads and increase use of public transportation or bicycle and pedestrian paths, bring the home and office closer together, and establish a communal existence. And we'll be damned if we have some rancher in the middle of nowhere giving us the finger. But this requires severely limiting alternative forms of development and growth outside certain prescribed areas. Now, some of you might be saying, but look at all this development and urban sprawl. You ready for this? You ready for this? In 2002, the Heritage Foundation's Dr. Ron Utt examined the federal government's land use surveys. He didn't create them. He examined the government's land use surveys. You know what he concluded? After nearly 400 years of unmanaged development and rabbit-like population growth, somewhere between 3.4% and 5.2% of land in the continental United States has been consumed. All right, that doesn't even include Alaska or Hawaii, but even Alaska, which is a big place. Let me repeat that. 3.4 to 5.2% of land in the continental United States has been consumed. I read that study when I was writing Liberty and Tyranny. It's fascinating how he breaks down each state in these federal surveys. So what does that mean? What that means is about 95% of the continental United States, including all that land, excluding all that land in Alaska and Hawaii, but particularly Alaska, given its size, is not developed. But you wouldn't know that, would you, if I didn't tell you? Because the brainwashing is sprawl, development, man out of control. But what of the heavily urbanized states, which include several of the original colonies? Well, Dr. Utt looked at them too. Let's look at New York and Virginia. They were settled in the early 1600s. Nearly 90% of the land in New York and Virginia still undeveloped. In Pennsylvania, over 85% of the land undeveloped. In Maryland, over 80% of the land undeveloped. Now, New Jersey and Rhode Island, their developed shares hovered at around 1/3 of the available land. But those are some of the highest shares in the nation, but still leaving both states with about 2/3 of their land undeveloped or in agricultural use. Did you know that? No. Because the vast majority of us, not all of us, live in urban areas or suburban areas or outer burbs. Have you ever flown a plane from the East Coast to the West Coast or vice versa? Well, those of you who have, and you look out the window, you know exactly what the point is, don't you? But it's not good enough, you see. It's not good enough for the extremists. It's not just about land use. It's about human use. It's not just about controlling development. It's about controlling you. They chased out